Good afternoon, good evening, or good night. Thank you for joining wherever it is you are joining from today. Super excited for us to be together on this fabulous day. It's a gorgeous day outside. Hopefully you have been able to experience some of the great outdoors today. We've got attendees coming in. They're all flooding in. As soon as you push the button, it's like the waiting room doors have opened and everyone comes flooding in all at once. So we've got the numbers just keep ticking right up, tick, 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 tick. So we're super glad that you are here to have this conversation with us today. We're doing a webinar together with a couple of fabulous and amazing shops and a couple of fabulous and amazing shop owners. And this is also in combination with Shop Boss Pro. Super excited to be partnered with Shop Boss Pro and their point of sale system. So as people keep flooding in here, one of the things we want to have this is to be an interactive webinar. So look down on there right now and type in the Q&A, the bottom of your bar, type in the Q&A where you are joining us from today. Go ahead and type that into the Q&A. While you're doing that, I'm going to shut a few things off. I still have too many tabs open. All right, type in the Q&A where you are joining us from today. City and state. We've got people coming in here. Louisville, Ohio. Nice, Melanie. Glad to have you here. And from Oakland, California, Luke, thank you for being here. It's always awesome to have you here. Todd from Swedish Automotive in Seattle. Hey, what's happening,
I'll be busy
Todd?
for the next hour.
Doing? Man, Todd, it's been forever. What did you just say? Okay. Leah coming in from Jimmy Purdy and wife Leah. Oh, nice. Nice. Glad you guys are here. Thank you. And Jimmy Purdy, he does dress up really nice. I mean, he's got that epic beard and dresses up real well. Paul from Prescott Valley, Arizona. Awesome. Awesome. Found out Paul and I have family living very close to each other. He's got a son out in Enterprise, Utah, and I live in St. George, Utah. So how about them apples? We're really close. Super excited for you to be here today. This is going to be awesome for our discussion. You've got questions. We've got some answers. We're going to talk about that connected shop. What does that connection look like for these shop owners as we talk about what that looks like? So you've got a few minutes here to type those questions into the Q&A. Thank you for typing them in so far. Those of you who are here, appreciate that a lot. I really do. I really do appreciate that. And with that, I want to give Cavan a few minutes here to talk about Shop Boss Pro, give you a little 30-second clip of Shop Boss and the awesomeness that you guys are. Cavan, with that, the floor is yours.
Excellent. Appreciate it, Jimmy. And thanks to our panelists for joining today. We'll do intros on those here in just a little bit. This is our second webinar that we've done with the Institute and Jimmy and Cecil previously. So really good to have that partnership and having a lot of you folks jump on from all over the place, early today to listen to a lot of the takeaways that we have on this connected retail experience. So a lot of these names I recognize. I recognize Todd. Todd and I have spoken a number of times. I recognize Paul, a few other people. So a lot of familiarity with Shop Boss on this webinar, which is great to see. So instead of talking about what Shop Boss is, because a lot of you folks know it, I'm going to talk a little bit about what we have upcoming, which is specifically our appearance at Apex and SEMA, biggest automotive and software show of the year happening here in Las Vegas, coming up October 31st, Halloween, through November 4th. Shop Boss is going to be at both shows like we typically are. So we're going to be at Apex in a combined booth experience with some of our partners like 360 Payments, Auto Shop Solutions, some of these folks that you've worked with and heard of before. We're also going to be at SEMA in the business services section, similarly right across the way from some of those partners that we work with on a daily, weekly, monthly period. And really the biggest thing that we have going on for the upcoming event is our new product showcase, which is an opportunity for all the software and hardware providers to put out their latest and greatest. So specifically for us, we're going to be concentrating on one, the recent UI upgrade that we did with dark mode, color mode, et cetera. And then two, our foray into Shop Boss websites. That's a piece that, as we talk about today, when we start talking about authentic marketing, one thing that we've really been concerned with over the past several months is that outward appearance and that digital acquisition of customers and what your digital storefront looks like, right? And that's why our websites and some of the partnerships that we have have been of so much value to a lot of our customers there. So you'll check us out. You'll see us. You look at the map for Apex and SEMA, but you can find Shop Boss. I will be there. Paul will be there. Luke will be there. A lot of names that you probably recognize from that side of the aisle. But we're excited to get this thing going for today. And again, thanks, Jimmy, for having us on.
Oh, absolutely. Super glad you're here. This is going to be epic. Multitasking as we speak. And there we go. The connected repair experience with Fremont Auto Center and Top Notch Automotive. This is going to be awesome. I'll be your host. My name is Jimmy Lea. You've got questions. We've got the answers. We've got plenty of discussion to be happening today. And I'm super excited to have these conversations with Sal Garcia. Sal loves the outdoors. Sal has a fabulous shop in California. Sal, thank you for being here, brother. How you doing?
Great. Thank you for the having me here. And really look forward to this and being able to be of service for everyone else.
Oh, yeah, you're awesome, brother. I appreciate that. Yeah, we're going to have an awesome discussion, and I'm super excited. And this picture I took, by the way, you're a hard one to find pictures of. I got this off of Facebook. You were out at the Statue of Liberty. Whoa, out there on Ellis Island. Did you go to Ellis Island as well?
Went to Ellis Island, went to the statue. That was actually a trip I took with my now wife when we were only dating for about a year.
Dude, that's some serious awesomeness. Well done. Congratulations.
Yeah. Thank you.
Very, very cool.
It was a fun trip.
Yeah. Oh, I'll bet those are memorable ones. Joining us as well is Jason from Top Notch Auto. Jason, thank you for being here. Jason, now I will tell you that Jason loves fishing, and I put on here that he loves fishing, which is true, but he also loves everything else outdoors as well. If it's outdoors, you'll find Jason there.
Absolutely. My hobby is definitely outside of the building and enjoying time with my friends and family, doing what we do.
Yeah. So your hobby is anything outdoors.
Pretty much.
Yeah. And you know where I got this picture from too. Tell me about this one.
Yeah. So that was at a recent trip. We went to Pikes Peak, and my son's wanting to get into the service academy out there in Colorado Springs. So we Pikes Peak's always been one of them things that you hear about and never get to see. And so we decided to take the clog train. That was quite the experience. That was fun. And went from 70 degrees at the base, and I think it was pushing 35 when we got to the top. So yeah, it was quite the experience. Really awesome.
So did you buy the $50 sweaters at the bottom or the $100 sweaters at the top?
Right. No, we just all huddled in the train car afterwards. That's for sure.
Oh, I so believe it. And this, I mean, you want to talk about a glacier you're standing in front of. That almost looks like a glacier that's there.
Yeah.
It must have been 20 feet tall.
Yeah, it was 12, 15 foot tall. It was insane. Like I said, we left the bottom. We had t-shirts and shorts on, and we did take some coats with us, just, preparing. But that was definitely an experience with the altitude, and it was insane. I encourage anybody, if you're ever out that way, to stop by and take a tour of Pikes Peak.
Yeah. I have driven past it a few times, always looking up and gazing up at that awesomeness. One of these times I'm going to have to take that trip up as well. Super cool. So in our discussion today, we're talking about connected shop, connected with our customers, connected digitally. These smartphones have changed everything we do on a daily basis. I would love to start the conversation with a drum I was very, very fond of, that I beat for at least 4 years, traveling all over North America, talking about digital vehicle inspections. So like a hand grenade, I'm going to throw that in the middle of the room. Tell me about your digital vehicle inspections. Let's have a discussion.
Well, digital inspections we've been doing since around 2019 at a more basic level and so on, and basically replaced the paper, and we pretty much haven't looked back. Once we went digital, the paper is non-existent, won't touch it, won't even go to it. Have people that are trying to, it's like, no.
Did they fight you on it?
Did they fight me? They did a little bit in the beginning. And I told them, I had one guy that kept on wanting to go to paper, and even the paper we had before, he didn't like, wanting something else. And I told him, look, this is your only choice. And as I say, the only way to really take on something sometimes is you have to burn the boats. And that's exactly what I did.
Nice, nice. What about you,
Yeah.
Jason? How did you switch it? Are you doing DVIs, digital
We
vehicle
are.
inspections?
Absolutely. We're starting to really push. We're learning a lot of this 300% rule, right? And trying to improve our business and improve our service to our customers. So using the Boss Inspect right now, the customers absolutely love getting pictures. We found that to be so awesome for us. Versus using paper, they're just getting a green and red, yellow checkbox, right? It's tacky, it gets wadded up, thrown in the trash can before it even gets out the door.
Well,
With
but
this,
even then, they don't even get a look at that until they're
No.
checking out.
no, not at all. And we're trying to process of, like, say, air filters. We could put a good air filter beside a dirty air filter, and the customers can understand. We could highlight, put text on there, explain. It's not just a picture that we're showing them. We're showing them the point of failure, so people can understand. There's a lot of people maybe doesn't understand. This morning we had a windshield wiper. We said we had a picture of, it was torn. Some people may not understand. Well, what's the failure here? What's good? What's bad? We actually highlight the failed part and compare it to a new one, and we are able to build an estimate right from that inspection if we wish to do so. That way, when the customer, if they're busy at work, they could review that real quick. They could click approve. We get a notification. The cars, it's a seamless operation. And the best part I love about our DVIs is Shop Boss is very willing to listen to us. They're very good about making improvements. Something's not working quite right, we let them know. Somebody's usually on it, and within a timely manner, it's usually corrected.
Oh, Jason, that's awesome. Do you have any examples of something that you've submitted recently as an improvement or a change, or maybe something wasn't working right that Shop Boss was able to jump on that quickly and repair for you?
Yeah, actually, just a couple of days ago, I caught a hold of them. I was doing some reviews, editing and auditing some inspections, and I noticed our mileage wasn't popping up right away on the screen I wanted it to. So I put that request in, and I'm sure, like I say, it was just handled a couple of days ago. I'm sure it's going to show up here real shortly.
Oh, that's awesome. That's very cool. Now to two pictures, DVI, digital vehicle inspection. This allows you to take pictures, allows you to take videos. Do you guys have a picture policy for your shop?
Oh, definitely do. I put that policy in place. One policy is there's a few pictures that are taken automatically, whether it's in good shape or bad shape. The air filters picture, the tire tread, the brake pad lining, the battery test results. Those are pictures whether they're good or bad. And then anything that's we consider to be in yellow or red, get the picture and you highlight what is it that's actually failed. And I've had it. I look at the inspections afterwards. And if it's not there, I'll kick it back to technician. It's like, doesn't care if the car's outside, bring it back in, take the wheel back off. I need those pictures.
Oh, it's totally true. Totally true. I'm so glad that you have a picture policy. So is that like 6 to 8 photos? Every caller gets it no matter what?
There's about probably about 6 photos that are automatic, and then anything else failing on top of that. So most DVIs have at least 9 photos. We do try to make sure that we don't go overboard. I mean, I've heard of people take like 30 pictures. It's like if you overwhelm them, the sales actually go down. So you want to keep it in a sweet spot between 6 and about 14 pictures. You don't want to go much more than that.
Yeah. Show there what's worn, torn, frayed, or broken. That was my mantra. Worn, torn, frayed, or broken. You show a customer, you're making the recommendation. As soon as you show them that picture, it's sold. In fact, a perfect example, I was on the phone with a gentleman and the DVI came in. The technician was recommending a new battery. Did a battery test. The cold cranking amps were low.
Yes.
It was just at the top of low, and we were headed into winter. And the tech was recommending a battery. Why? Because we know as soon as you get that first frost, now you're stuck.
Yes.
Made a recommendation. Customer denied it. And I said, do me a favor, send it back to the technician, have him take a picture of the receipt, the cold cranking amps, because it printout. He had the printout, sent that to the customer, sold.
Yep.
Sold. Yep. Why? Because we're there looking out for the customer. He wasn't looking to make additional sales. Well, Okay, he is, but it's more than that. It's taking care of the customer. We know that customer's not going to be stuck at the grocery store or stuck in their driveway, not able to leave because we had a frost last night.
Yeah. To take it one step further, we actually had one recently where same thing. We tested the battery, it came up low, and the customer declined it. And of course, we make it very clear. It's like, no, I won't do it. About a week and a half later, the car has to get jump started. It comes in and they're like, all that, and they're a little upset. It's like, well, if you recall, we did recommend the battery, this, and this, and they're all like, okay, go ahead and do it. You know, and
Yes.
we've had others that same thing. We did a recommendation on something that was a larger item, and the customer declined it. You know, and sure enough, it makes a weird noise about a month later, and they're all panicking, call me on the phone, and put the phone up to the car. I hear the noise. I'm like, yep, I know exactly what it is. Drive it home. You're okay to drive it home. And, you know, then the next business day, bring it in. And then I showed him exactly, well, you know, okay, here's what it is. Confirmed to him. It's like, remember this thing I recommended to you? But we wanted to be able to get ahead of it. Well, yeah, this is exactly what it needs to take care of that noise. You know,
Dun, dun, dun.
at that point, we have absolutely no kind of pushback whatsoever. They're like, okay, when can I have it done?
Yeah. So, Jason, give us a success story, a DVI success story. Think of a situation where you've had somebody come in, and I'll bet it's one of these situations. They denied it, they denied it, they denied it, they denied it. You got in the DVI, did a digital vehicle inspection, took pictures, sent it to them, and it's approved. You got any stories like that?
Yeah, a little bit. Actually, the freshest one on my mind was just yesterday. So we have a customer has an Astro van, believe it or not, still on the road. Yeah, right. Well, we're in the Rust Belt, so this vehicle's slowly been dying, and we was doing a DVI before we did any repairs. Got it up in the air. The frame is toast on this thing. We are in the Rust Belt, so
Swiss cheese.
Yes. And we've told him before, listen, you're going to have to discontinue the use of this vehicle sooner or later. It's getting to be a problem. We was doing our DVI. We took a ton of pictures of the subframe, the frame, the body, showed him from underneath, like, listen, it's not necessarily that your vehicle's rusted. Your vehicle's rusted out. It is unsafe. It is unsafe for you to drive. It is unsafe for my workers to service your vehicle anymore. And until we showed him the pictures of the DVI, he was very unapproved of it. But once we were able to show him the pictures that, hey, look, your spring shackle's falling off this thing, he's like, okay, yep, it's time, you know. So we have some legal proof that, you know, we did everything we could do. And on top of it, until the customer saw those pictures, which is crazy that we could tell them what we say is, you know, this is needing replaced or repaired or whatnot. But until we show them proof, they don't believe us. I once had a person tell me it's like going to the doctor. He could tell you got a broken bone in your foot, but until he shows you the x-ray, you don't believe him, you know.
Oh, so true.
So yeah, right. So, and it goes back to what Sal was talking earlier, or you was talking about the battery. You know, it's funny. I could tell somebody that their battery's weak, and maybe it's been starting just fine for them. But if I show them a printout that it was weak, they change their attitude 100%, and you know, you don't even have to try to sell it. So, but yeah, that was the most recent one that we had, that literally we have a monitor up front that we could flip around and show them. Obviously they get it on their phone as well. This gentleman wasn't the most tech savvy person in the world. So, but we was able to explain to him, and he was upset, but he was not upset at us. So it was really cool.
That is cool. That is cool. I'm glad you're able to show it. Have you had any of the situations, Sal or Jason, where the question came back to you, well, how do I know that that's my car? Has that ever been asked of you?
No, actually it has not been asked of us. I'm actually surprised it hasn't been asked of us.
I've never heard it asked, ever.
Yeah, I've never heard it asked, but then that's also why, you know, like say with the battery test results, we take a picture of the screen. We have the digital battery tester where it actually scans the VIN of the car and everything. So there's no question it's their car. Anything else, same thing. It's no question. And but we never had that asked. I am surprised. I'm kind of waiting for one of these days, so on, but never had it asked.
Right. I'm waiting for the picture of the shocks and struts that are leaking, and somebody's going to say, well, how do I know that's my truck? How do I know that's my car? Mm-hmm. it's never, ever been asked.
No. And if
What?
it's ever, if it's even ever a concern, we could do video. We don't
Yeah.
just do pictures. We could do video. We could do a 360 video. I mean, how awesome is that? Scratches, window chips, warning lights on the dash, all that.
Well, now here's a question for you too. In your Shop Boss DVI, are you able to, I want to reuse the right word. Are you able to take a lot of pictures for the CYA, but hide them so you're not over posting pictures for a customer, but CYA to kind of cover your behind?
I believe so. Because when the
Okay.
pictures are taking, we upload them there. But I noticed that at least in the first part, there's place pictures. We take pictures of 4 corners of the car, and when I go to send the DVI, I see a little box next to the picture. And I've never actually tested this to be on the safe side, but I believe if you don't check the box, the picture may not go out.
Yes.
So by
Yes.
then those pictures will stay in our system, so we still have them recorded. Because I have my technicians, when they first get to the car, I want them to take pictures of the rear of the car. That's the main picture that shows the registration sticker also, and
Yes.
then all 4 corners, and then the dash with the car started up, so that way if there's any check engine light on or any or warning lights, it's there before they start. So if the customer says, "Well, that wasn't there before," well, funny, here's a picture of the mileage that you came in with, and the light's already on.
Yes. No, so here's the other thing I've heard from many shop owners that are doing DVIs is they've been able to stop paying for side mirrors. It was hanging when it came in. Here's the picture to show you that this was like this when you brought, oh yeah, you're right. My wife, or my son, or I hit the garage as I was backing out. Yeah, no, okay. No, that must have been what that sound was. I've heard it. I've seen it. Yeah.
Yep. We actually are in the process of, like I say, we're working toward that 300% rule, and we're going to start our check-in process. Every vehicle, our service advisors will be doing a 4-corner picture, a dash picture in place where the customer dropped the vehicle off, not in the bay. Like currently now we take the picture of the car in the bay. We will be taking that initial picture where we found the vehicle. So there's no questions there. Obviously, I think most people have really good customers, but there's always that sour one, you know? So yeah.
And it's that one that makes you do a 360 video of the car before you start it up to pull it in.
Yep. Absolutely.
Yeah. Yep. So tell us about the 300% rule, Jason. What is your 300%?
This is probably more of a Sal question. So
well, we can flip it to Sal, but
we're just getting started with it. So
all right,
go ahead, Sal.
Yeah. I was going to say the 300% rule is something that I actually learned even before DVI. I've been in this business for a long time, and I'm going to say a name that a lot of people out there may not know, but the old timers will know, of a guy named Jim Hunt.
I know him. Yeah,
okay.
He was the inspiration for this guy right here.
Yep, exactly. And so I actually had a shop years ago, and I was actually a client of Jim Hunt. I learned under him, you know, and I actually have also all my material from back then. Back then, he taught the 300% rule when it's still paper for inspections. And that has stuck with me. And of course, it's only been recently that I instituted again because Boss Inspect is so powerful and so quick to use for all my techs because of all the drop downs. They don't have to do much typing. It's all choose what the condition is and the recommendations. But the 300% rule is 100% of the cars that come in the shop get inspected. 100% of the work that you find gets estimated, and 100% of the work gets presented. Now, whether they actually do the work or not, it's completely up to them. It hauls the presentation, but at least it's there. So it does two things. One is you actually you let them know about it. So again, CYA, and two, you know, you sell a whole lot more work because, again, as Jason said, we've had people that come in and when we show them the inspection, they are pissed. But not at us because they've been going somewhere else for so long, and we're showing them things like, well, these things don't go bad overnight. They were over time. They should have been informed beforehand, and they were never told. And and then they just, oh, you know what? They're mad. Okay, just stay there. Don't take it personal, and so on, and just kind of sit there and just listen to everything, and then finally they're like, okay, so when can you have it all done by? We have had quite a few like that.
No kidding.
No
That
kidding.
literally just happened this morning to us. You know, we had a good customer. Their daughter was in from college, and it came in with a rumble noise in the rear. We decided to go ahead and do an inspection on it this morning, and found a whole list of stuff, safety items more so than convenience, which is why it was here for a rumble noise and a radio not working. Well, I'm not concerned about that radio. I'm concerned about making that vehicle safe. And we presented it to the customer. Customer was a little irate on the phone. He more upset that his daughter didn't present this stuff to him. But he hung the phone up. An hour later, called us up. It's like Sal just said, when can you have it done?
Yep.
So
We're here to make sure that you are safe on the road.
Yep.
Don't kill the messenger.
Yep.
We're just saying, giving you the message.
Yep. And when we present the work, basically we present it in this order of criteria. First of all, we always going to respond to their primary concern, what they brought in for. They may be coming in about a radio, but we hear that the brakes are metal to metal. We're not going to overstep the radio. We're going to give them an answer on the radio. Now, based on their budget, we're going to tell them, like, you know what, this is what the radio, but don't worry about the radio. Let's take care of these items. But don't ignore their primary concern, because too many people, it's like, you know, oh, well, they have this over here, so they ignore the primary concern. Well, now the customers felt like they weren't heard. They need to feel heard. So we always give them a response on that. But then our primary is always about, okay, after that is safety items first, then items that if they're not taken care of, they're going to do further damage on something else, and everything else is just kind of fluff, is what we call it. So that's the order that we presented.
Oh, I love that. I love it. I love that the DVI, it answers all, and it covers your behind. And I love that you're doing the 300% rule, Sal. And one of these times we need to have a conversation about the Institute and the 500% rule. We'll tell you about that later. Because let's talk about digital connections. So here we are, we're communicating digitally, sending information back and forth with the customers. They're delighted to have it, whether that delight is fright or fear or empowerment. Hopefully it is empowerment. They're making much better decisions about their vehicle, about their safety, because you have documented and showed them. So let's talk about also digital and talk about marketing. How has your marketing changed? Sal, you've been in the game for a minute. Jason, maybe your marketing has always been the same, but Sal, start with you. How has your marketing changed with the introduction of all things digital?
Well, I would say all my marketing is digital. It's like I don't do direct mail. I've done it. I've tried it once or twice. It doesn't work very well for us. It's something that you have to do consistently and so on. And now my experience with it and my thoughts on it may be a little bit old school also, which is why I don't like it, because it's always about discounts, and we don't do discounts.
Bingo.
Our price, and we don't do discounts. The only time we do any specials, if we get a little slow, we may send something out only to our customer database for previous recommendations and so on, but it's a short window that is good for 2-3 weeks. We typically send something out in the mail around the holidays, you know, as a thank you to our customers. Okay, here's a little thing that's good till, like, you know, and exactly, it's good till about Valentine's Day, which is kind of funny when that kind of expires. But other than that, it's all digital. We work with, you know, Google AdWords. We work with multiple websites. We work in our area. Yelp is actually very good. You know, a lot of parts of the US, Yelp doesn't work very well, but for us, we actually get about a 10-to-1 return with Yelp.
Interesting.
And then we get and then of course Google. So it's about, you take care of the customer. The customer, of course, puts the reviews out there and so on, and that's what kind of keeps moving you up. And I have a marketing manager that works on my website, and he adds probably about a page to the website about once a month at least, you know, of new content and so on. And that keeps us high in the Google rankings. You go to look for auto repair in our city, you know, let's say like Honda repair, Mercedes repair. A lot of times we come up above the dealers in our area. So, I mean, I've got an amazing marketing guy to kind of keep us ahead there. And I like, in the words of Henry Ford, it's like, you know, find someone who's really good at in something, and, you know, hire them. Something where you're weak, find someone strong and hire them to do that job, and it'll be better in the long run.
Nice. I love that.
Yep.
I love that. Marketing, Jason, throwing it over to you, brother.
Yeah, so we're very rural, so Yelp isn't really a thing here. So believe it or not. So
no, we believe it.
Yeah, so I rely heavily on social media. That seems to be where our market is. So we kind of keep track of that a little bit. We're trying to work on doing some videos, doing some posts, just community stuff. Anytime we're involved in the community, just kind of really putting ourselves out there that we're just normal people. We're just normal people trying to make a living, keeping your vehicle safe, keeping you on the road, and that's kind of where we go with that. So I've been personally trying to work on the video aspect of it. Just walk through the shop. Hey guy, what are you up to? What are you doing? What's the customer's concern? What are you doing to fix it? Oh, okay. Well, we're going to do some kind of verification. What do you do to verify that this car's fixed? Stuff like that. That's a work in progress. These last probably 3 weeks have been very consuming of my time to do stuff like that, trying to figure that out. So the digital marketing side, Facebook, TikTok, Facebook more because it's more local. TikTok, your audience gets, it's branched out. And I try to keep that to my personal page and my business page as well. It really draws in a good market for us. And using Shop Boss, there's a place you could click and find that source. Somebody comes in and is like, hey, I saw that video on Facebook the other day. That was pretty cool. We'll annotate that on Shop Boss. So we know, okay, where are we getting this return at? Is a lot of people paying attention to a radio ad or to Facebook ads or whatnot, and you know where to focus your marketing dollars. We don't spend a ton of money on marketing. It's all every single person out there is a little bit different. We go after like I say, the social media side of things is pretty awesome for us.
Oh, that's very cool. Yeah, I totally agree. The social media side. So speaking of social media and transparency and being authentic with your clients, your customers, what do you use in your so we talk about Facebook. Is Facebook the majority of your presentation? Is that the majority of your social media?
Yeah.
Jason and Sal?
I have a Facebook page, but honestly, I am not on social media much. I am not a big social media guy in many ways. As you said, it's kind of hard to find pictures of me and things like that. But what it is most of my social media is more of me in groups with other shop owners to help out other shop owners and listen to them and all that stuff. It's something that I talked to my marketing person, and it's difficult for us to kind of really quantify to see how it's working. So because it's hard to measure, it's something that we just haven't put as much energy into. Is what it comes down to, because that's something that I would have to do myself personally, and sometimes I just don't have the time to do it. I'm still in a place where I'm still working on put my processes in writing because it's all in my head, and I'm very clear on the vision, but it's to put it in writing. So I'm still putting my energy more into that. So it's difficult for me to put the energy in social media, especially if it's something that I'm just not as comfortable with. I really don't even have an Instagram account. I don't have a TikTok account. The only reason why I have Facebook, I really just started that because I worked in another business for a little while and I tried to do that, and I just kind of kept the account and kind of went with that. So it's one of those where you have to do that yourself. You cannot really farm that out to someone else.
You can't farm it out. And I've got a story. A really good friend down in Florida came to me right at the beginning of the unmentionable, the pandemic, and said, "Oh my gosh, Jimmy, I'm having to send my texts home. In 25 years, I've never sent texts home early because I have no work." He says, "I have no work. We've cleaned the shop. We've scrubbed the floors. We painted the buildings. We have no work. I have no money to pay my guys. I have to send them home as a responsible business owner. I can't keep going." I said, "Well, let me tell you something. Your customers right now, everybody, the world is on social media. They're on Facebook. Go onto Facebook every morning, 8 a.m., and talk about today is fleet truck at the shop day. Today is Honda car day. Today is Toyota car day. Today is Ford F-150 truck day." So when you're talking about these vehicles that are coming into the shop and you talk about what you're working on these vehicles, a lot of people say, "Hey, you know what? I don't have a Honda, but I do have a Toyota. When's Toyota day?" In fact, we're doing Toyota Day tomorrow. Come on. So my friend did this, and he did this, and he did this, and his business just took off. Even in the middle of a pandemic, he took off. Business was going really, really good again. About October that year, so he got busy. What happens when we get busy, Sal?
You stop doing what you're doing.
You stop doing it. So he calls me up, and he says, Jimmy, oh my gosh, it's happening again. What's going on? I don't know. I don't get it. What do you see in the world? I said, well, Gary, I wasn't going to say his name. Well, my friend, I haven't seen your posts in a while. I haven't seen your Facebook Live. He's like, oh my gosh, you're totally right. Oh, hung up, called immediately, did a Facebook Live immediately. He's talking about jazz music. He's talking about bourbon. He's talking about cigars. He's talking about R&B. He's talking about cars down at the shop. He's talking about his cat Diesel that is down at the shop. Diesel is a black cat that brings offerings every once in a while, mice and birds, and leaves it at the front office. It's a way of connecting and a way of building a relationship with customers. They are on social media. We need to be there as well. And it's something as simple as, and now here's this interesting too. I said to him, I says, you need to do these in 30 seconds, 60 seconds, 90 seconds tops. He didn't listen to me. He went and did his own thing. And it's okay, because he's connecting with his clients, his market. These videos are 5 minutes, 6 minutes, 7 minutes long, and people are loving it. So they're coming flooding down there. His business takes off again, and he's doing extremely well. So in fact, he's doing so well, he just bought his second Challenger, and it is gorgeous, gorgeous. So being authentic is very important in your marketing, and especially in your digital marketing, especially in your social media marketing. This is where people are. This is where they're at. I'm glad you guys are doing some. If you're not doing social media marketing, do it. Your customers are there. That's why you want to do it. It's not because you're there, because chances are you're not. It's because your customers are, and that's where you're going to be able to connect with them very closely. Anything else to add to marketing and digital social media?
Yeah, the one thing I like about the social side of it is, somebody might be thinking, hey, my check engine light came on yesterday, but they don't think much about it, right? The car's running great. But yet, if they see you throw it, like you just said, just a walkthrough in the shop, you're not even talking cars, you're talking something else. But just that mental influence that you just put on that person might be like, oh, that's right, I need to call down there and get that check engine light looked at. It's something so simple. Last week things slowed down a little bit for us, not bad, just enough to put a little dip in the schedule, put a little blast out there real quick, complimentary tire rotation with an oil change, which, hey, you know what, we're looking at your brakes anyhow, it's not that big of a deal. And right now there's not a parking spot on the lot. It's unbelievable how fast, and not necessarily people were calling for that complimentary tire rotation. They're like, hey, I got my check engine light, I got this noise. It just sparked the memory of, oh yeah, I do need to get my car in. That's all it was. So super cool, super easy, super quick. That's what I like about it.
I love it. I love it. Jason, that marketing that you just did is called top of mind marketing. You are there and you sparked the interest. You were top of mind when they remembered, oh my gosh, I've got a check engine light. I need to get my car down to Jason. I love that you did that. Now, I have a question for you, Jason, because you put this out on Facebook, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you boosted it.
Yep.
How much did you spend on your boost?
Not much, like maybe $20.
$20. And how much did you sell from it?
Oh, I don't even know. It's so much. Not, I bet you we got.
Are you over 2,000?
I would say for the week we're probably closer to 5, just because of suspension work and brakes, that kind of stuff. And they weren't coming in just for that complimentary tire rotation with the oil change. They wanted that, but they also had the others that they added to it. And that's where we make our money, obviously.
Oh, that's beautiful. I'm so glad you're doing that. Get that car in, get the tires off. It gets you're able to see so much better. You can get down those little tabs, the red, green, and yellow, to show look, you're 2 millimeters. This is where you're going to start having problems. This is red. It needs to be changed.
Yep.
We got to
And
keep you
we
safe
get
on
the
the
little
road.
envelopes, you know, when they drop the keys off, they fill out the information. We had 3 of them yesterday that added wheel alignments, and they were all oil change, complimentary oil changes. So right there's $300 minimum.
Wheel alignment, you're doing the free tire rotation, but then they're also wanting the oil change and the wheel alignment.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, and you have an alignment machine, I'm assuming.
Correct.
Nice, nice. All right, so I have a request. My request from you guys, I'm looking for a story. I'm looking for a totally digital, hands-off story where you communicated via Sal's lights are going off.
I've got a great one. I have one. I actually don't remember the customer's name, but I remember it was a person that called us up about an issue on their car. Like, okay, we can definitely take care of that, but because of their schedule, it was very difficult for them to get in. So I said, okay, well, you know, never been here before. It's like, okay, you can drop off the car before we open. We're 8 to 5 Monday through Friday, so they couldn't make those hours as their work hours. They drop off the car at 7 o'clock in the morning in the key drop. I said, first time here, okay, make sure you put paper on the passenger seat of the car. What is your concern? Your information, how to be able to reach you. They did that. We get in the morning, get there, write it up. Didn't even call them because they weren't able to really answer the phone, but we're able to send them the estimate digitally. Now, Shop Boss has something beyond what I've seen others do, where when we send to them digitally, they can actually sign on their screen of their phone. So it actually captures the signature. So it's as it's a wet signature. So it's like, it's not just, okay, we have saying that they approve it. No, there's an actual signature, saves as a PDF. So we have that in the system. So we go through everything, do our inspection, do our testing, send them the inspection report, and it goes by both text and email. So they can open up a link either way. And then once they look it over, we typically tell them like, okay, we'll reach out to you in 30 minutes after you open it to see that. We get a message on the screen, okay, this person has looked at the inspection report. So we know when I've turned that setting on, so we know when someone opens the inspection, has seen it. And then they'll hear from about 30 minutes. They can't answer the phone. Fine, we send them a text message. Okay, do you have any questions on the inspection? Anything that we can answer for you? And they're like, then of course, 1 or 2 questions, all by text. So they're maybe at the desk, they're in a meeting, whatever, not on the phone. And it's like, okay, they would like to these items here. It's like, okay. And what we do, we can tell them, it's like, we're going to send you another update, and it sends update with the full estimate. They can approve or decline individual jobs. Now, I know that the safety that's built into that, when they approve a job, they have to punch in the last 4 digits of their phone number to make sure it's actually them. But they go one step further. What Shop Boss does that I believe others don't, is I've heard of stories where they sent the estimate to someone, and it got approved. They did the work, and then the customer calls later. It's like, yeah, I haven't heard from you guys. Well, because it was an error in the message, it went to someone else on email. They approved stuff, like not knowing what the hell it is, that what they were doing. Luckily, the person did want to have the work done, so they didn't get in trouble. In the case over here with Shop Boss, we tell us like, okay, they can approve everything, but then again, digital signature, e-sign. And when they do the e-sign, it actually asks, it gives you, your typical 10 or 6 addresses. You have to choose the one that's on file to make sure it's actually that person. And we make sure we get that before we actually do the work. So they do that, we do the work, beautiful. Okay, well now the work is done, everything's great. Okay, they're gonna pick it up after hours, fine. Send them a link after the fact. Now they can actually pay digitally, text pay, email, open the link, credit card, okay. Email the final invoice, lock the car outside. We have lock boxes. Okay, your key is in lockbox number 4. This is the combination, and they come pick up the car. To this day, I have no idea what that person looks like.
Yep.
All digital, and it's all certified in a way where it's like, okay, there's no question that it was that person. There's no question about, well, I didn't approve that and so on. There's no doubts about anything there, and they love the whole thing, the pictures, everything, and away we go. It's all secure.
Oh, I love it. I love it. I love it. That's such a success story for the age that we're in where everything is digital and people are filling out forms or dropping off cars, you don't even get to see it. I foresee a day where the car shows up and tells you what it needs, you fix it, and it goes back. And it's there for me when I come out of work at 5, 6 o'clock at night, and oh, you did some work on my car. Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, we had almost exact same situation, like Sal said. We have a high school here in town, so we deal a lot with the school teachers. And we had a situation not long ago. Teacher scheduled an appointment via text through the two-way texting on ShopBoss. We got that taken care of, got the car in, had a little bit of a retainer for some diagnostic work, sent them the story, sent them some pictures. They approved the work remotely, email on this one, because like you said, you could do email, you could do text, either one. But because the teachers are constantly in front of their computers all day, so it's super simple. We know certain teachers, that's how they communicate.
Yeah.
There again, order the parts, fix the car, send them an approval, or the repair was done. Give them the code, like Sal said. We have a lockbox outside that they could pick up the keys securely. They picked the car up. We never saw them, never talked to them in person. So I personally would rather talk to somebody in person. That's just who I am. But there's careers out there that people just can't do that. They don't have the time. They can't get away from the job to do so. So it makes it very simple. The 360 integration with remote pay, super simple. They could literally scan their credit card with their cell phone, pay it that way if they like. It just makes things so much easier.
And that's all done through ShopBoss?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's sweet. Okay, so you were on other point of sale systems before ShopBoss. Now you've been on ShopBoss for a minute. Are you more productive? Are you more efficient? Are you more profitable? What are you seeing?
Yes.
Yeah, I would say the same to all the above. I can't mention no names, but the big one for me, 100% the one for me is customer service. My prior system, you was lucky to be able to even leave a message, let alone get a phone call back. I literally know a lot of the ShopBoss staff by name now, and there's a little tab that you could click. You could usually instant message somebody within, I would say, less than 5 minutes. You could have a texting conversation with somebody. If you need to have a phone call with somebody, typically you can leave a voicemail within 2 hours, you're getting a phone call back, if not shorter. So the customer service to me is better than any system I've ever seen.
Okay. So now, I'm here at the Institute, coaching and training, sales skills, customer service skills, technician skills, productivity, effective labor rates, door rates, profitability, net profit, gross profit. What about reporting? What kind of reports are you guys pulling out of ShopBoss Pro? How does that help? What do you get? What are you looking at?
Well, the one thing that I look at is not even a regular report. It's something that, you put in all your numbers ahead of time and it shows on every repair order. Everyone pays attention to gross profit percentage. These days, that's not, especially on the big jobs, not a number you can really use and trust. So we have a number is profit per hour. And that is a real key number. And I've just started getting into tires. And that's where that comes in, that kind of originally in transmission shops, because you can't, your gross profit is going to be, 40% on a real big job. But your profit per hour, we're looking at numbers. We're trying to keep it in the 300 range. And I look at tires. I just quoted out a set of tires that we just did, and it's like our profit per hour is in the over $500 range. But yet our gross profit percentage was down in the 38%.
Yeah.
So that is a key number that we can see on every job to see, okay, are we making the profit we need before we sell the job? And because if you go back to 4 things that are the things in any job is customer satisfaction before profit.
Yes.
Know who the customer is. Know your numbers, and profit before work. Okay, so basically, if it comes into a question about whether how the profit or taking care of the customer, take care of the customer within reason there. But the last one is when you're doing an estimate, make sure the profit is there that you need before you sell the job. Make sure the profit's there before you do the work. And with things being so skewed these days, and especially on bigger jobs, having that profit per hour right there on the computer instead of having to calculate it separately is really key in doing the jobs. And it's, if all the numbers are entered in ahead of time, and there's a whole process you put in, but it's very quick to do. It takes, realistically, if you have your P&L, you can put in all the numbers. It takes you maybe 5 to 10 minutes. You set it up and you're good to go, and that number is going to show up every time as long as you actually punch everything in properly.
Nice.
Yeah.
And
Nice.
go ahead.
What I was
Well,
going to say,
so
I'm sorry.
go ahead,
What I
Jason.
was
Then
gonna-
I have a question for you, Sal.
What I was going to say is what I really like about the profit per hour calculator is it, like Sal said, it's got true cost in it. Your GP calculator just has your intake, right? It doesn't have none of your building expenses, overheads. The profit per hour has salaries and building expenses, utilities, all that such. So it's a true good number to go off of.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yep.
All right. Sal, my question for you, are you able to separate repairs and tires so you can monitor those separate? Because I understand tires, it's a higher dollar volume, a lower profit volume, but repairs is a higher profit volume, lower dollar.
I'll be honest with you, I believe you can, but I don't
Okay.
know yet. Because I mean, when I say I just started doing tires, I mean quite literally, I had a tire machine here because I started with one small shop. The shop next door went out of business. I took over that to kind of expand. When I took over that one, they had a tire machine and a balancer, but they were like, Amazon special at the time, probably $1,600 for the pair.
Oh,
The tire mounter is actually decent, but the balancer, of course, it would balance it okay, but it took way too long.
yeah.
Well, I just got hold of a Hunter with a road force measurement. Maybe
Oh, I
gonna
love
use them,
that.
but have that because I mean we do European cars here. My experience, I've worked for Mercedes-Benz for over 10 years. So
Yeah.
I needed to have that road force. So I finally have that. So I've really only been doing tires, I got set up with that like 2 weeks ago.
Oh,
So
nice.
I have not really looked into ShopBoss on how to be able to do that. Now I do know that because we use Parts Tech with integration with ShopBoss, and a
Yep.
lot of tire distributors are on Parts Tech. So it's like,
Yep.
okay, I can actually, when looking up tires, it's all integrated. It comes over automatically. I don't have to do manual entry on tires either.
Oh, I love that.
And I know
That's
that
awesome.
when I enter tire information, it comes up with a little thing about, dot number or something like that. So there's some more information that needs to be entered there. So they are set up to do tires. It does recognize it being a tire. Now, how to separate in the reports, I still got to kind of figure that out and play with that a little bit. I'm one to tinker on my own. I don't call customer service as much because I like to do that. And honestly, I've had to call customer service very little because the system is so easy to pick up and so easy to learn that I really haven't had to have any training on it, and because of that. So it's
Well,
like,
take
okay, I
Jason's
may actually
approach
call.
on this one. Take Jason's approach and let's click the button and have somebody, because I'll bet there's a way to do it that you can either track
Oh
both
yeah,
of them, or
probably.
maybe they're going to rename this new function, Sal, because you've recommended this idea of separating the two. But I'll bet it. I'll bet it's already there.
Well, already when we do every job, it does have a category, and I make sure my guys have it. So okay, if it's suspension, if it's engine, if it's diagnosis, every job gets put into a category anyway. So I probably just have to make a category saying tires. Okay, that's where that one goes, and that's an automatic. I know about that one. Now, whether any deeper and everything, I'll look at that. But there's so many things you can do in the settings and set things up and so on that'll probably give you those reports.
Nice, nice. Very cool. Well, we're looking for somewhere to come in and land this plane here because man, you guys are awesome. I appreciate your effort, your energy, your engagement, your knowledge, your experience. Sal, thanks for being in the game for a while, given your knowledge and experience. And Jason, thanks for being digital, for allowing the industry to grow right along as you're growing as well. It's very cool. Final thoughts, final words of wisdom that we want to share with those that are coming behind us, because we've been down the road. We know where the potholes are. We know where the obstacles are, the speed bumps, what the speed limits are, what the restraints are. Any advice, any words of wisdom that you would want to drop on that next shop owner that's coming down the street?
I would say start off with one, know your numbers. Don't think that it's like, okay, well, I know how to fix cars. I'm gonna, open up a shop, put my name on it, just start fixing cars. And think that because, oh, well, if I do it less than this guy next to me, that I'm going to get more customers, I'm going to be I'm going to make more money. No, you need to know your numbers. You need to know what your overhead, what your true cost is. So first thing is know your numbers. Second of all is keep your ego in check. Okay, I had a shop once before. It failed after 4.5 years, and I can tell you very clearly the reason why it failed is because of my ego. It took walking through the bay doors for me to get in the building because my head was so big at the time.
Oh,
So that's why it's like right now the name of the shop does not have my name in it because it's not about me. And make sure you listen to the customer, because at the end of the day, they're the ones that actually pay your bills. Oh, I pay my bills. No, your customers pay your bills.
they do.
So at the end of the day, it's the customer. The one thing I always tell is like, whatever we do, always make sure you give the customer all the information they need to make a proper decision, and make sure that they have enough so that way, whichever way they decide, they're satisfied with their choice. If they choose to do it, it's not, they don't feel like, oh, they got forced into it or they had to. No, they're satisfied that they did. If they choose not to, that they're satisfied that they didn't do it. So no matter what, they leave satisfied.
Love it. Love it. Know your numbers. Take care of your customers. Jason.
Train. Try to get to as many training events as possible. Network with people. That's what's pushed me in my shop as far as we have came, is just outreaching a little bit. And just if there's a training event that, even if we've been to it before, done that class before, something has changed. So obviously we know our industry is changing by the day. So we try to train as much as possible, try to attend these events. Being at a webinar like this is exactly what I'm talking about. Just trying to better yourself, better your equipment, better your software. And that's all I could say.
Oh man, I appreciate that, Jason. That's a big shout out to all training, East Coast to West Coast, the border, top border to the bottom border. There is training happening all over. We want to be a part of it. Definitely. In fact, I'm going to give a shout out to our Mars conference in March 21, 22, 23, 24 of 24. We're going to have a marketing conference here at the Institute in Ogden, Utah. By the way, I'm in Ogden today. We took the show on the road today. I'm in Ogden, Utah. So thank you very much, Sal. Thank you, Jason. You guys are awesome. You've been amazing as we talk about digital connections and digital shops and connecting with our customers where they are. You guys are awesome. Thank you very much. And thank you to Shop Boss Pro. Thank you for the shout out. Thank you for partnering with us and making this industry awesome and amazing. This is my email, my cell phone. You've got questions. We've got some answers. So let's get together. Love to provide for you as a shop in the industry an analysis of your business. How you doing? We'd love to connect. My name is Jimmy Lea. Talk to you soon.
Thank you.
And we are out. Bye, guys.
All right. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Later.